First, however, that battlefield is getting bigger by the day. The U.S. expanding airstrikes into northern Iran as well as the Strait of Hormuz. The president weighing new options to try and bring the regime to its knees. And how do you do that in the end? Good morning, everybody. It's Thursday. Let's get to it. I'm Bill Hemmer, and hello to you.
Hello. Good morning. I'm Dana Perino, and this is America's Newsroom. The conflict in Iran is entering this new phase. For the first time, the U.S. striking targets near the capital of Tehran. The Iranians are retaliating with attacks on America's regional allies. So at the same time, the U.S. enforcing its naval blockade. Yesterday, American forces opened fire on an oil tanker that tried to get through. We shot a missile down the smokestack. The U.S. says the boat ignored multiple warnings to stop. Meanwhile, the Wall Street Journal reporting the president is leaning toward expanding military operations in Iran. Here's what he said yesterday.
The Islamic Republic of Iran is not happy right now. Should have been done 47 years ago. And they want to settle so badly. They don't like what we're doing. And they do want to settle. We'll find out whether or not we settle with them or we just finish it off.
Mike Tobin, live from Tel Aviv this morning. Hi, Mike.
And Dana, with the blockade now active, the U.S. has been on the offensive. As you mentioned, one ship has been fired on. This is a tanker flagged out of Curacao named the Belma. The U.S. says the big ship was headed toward Iran's primary oil hub, Karg Island. The ship ignored multiple warnings, so U.S. aircraft fired multiple Hellfire missiles into the smokestack. Two tankers were turned around the previous day. The U.S. has also fired deeper into Iran than it had previously in this round of fighting. This comes from Iran state media, so it's not confirmed by the U.S., but air defenses near Tehran triggered yesterday. Also, barracks for Iran's 388th Mechanized Infantry Division were hit. The town is Iranshar to the southeast. That brigade operated tanks and armored vehicles. All the public statements we get from Iran are defiant.
The criminal United States continues its lawlessness and its efforts to destabilize the region. First, we once again stress that under no circumstances and in no way will we allow the United States, as a foreign and extra-regional country, to interfere in the Strait of Hormuz. This is Iran's inviolable red line.
A woman with dual U.S.-Iran citizenship has been released from Iranian captivity. Dena Karari was arrested while visiting family back in 2024 and charged with espionage. She's been released. Her lawyer posted that she's traveling back to the U.S. and grateful to President Trump for her release. And Iran has once again been firing at its neighbors. The Petra news agency out of Jordan says that 8 hostile aircraft were intercepted. Iran says these were drones and they were fired at U.S. bases in Jordan. Dana, back to you.
All right, Mike Tobin, thank you so much.
So Rebeccah Heinrichs now, senior fellow, Hudson Institute. Rebeccah, welcome back here. There's a lot to get to. I'll frame it as best I can. We reached deep inside Iran in the past 24 hours, near the capital city of Tehran. At the same time, Iran's saying that their invincible red line is the Strait of Hormuz and the Americans will not control it. So where are we now, Rebeccah?
Well, the United States does control the Strait of Hormuz. It's just that the Iranians are able to terrorize the strait and prevent some shipping to go through because of insurance rates, all the things that we know that makes shipping companies nervous to go through. However, the Iranians understand that by their shooting into the Strait of Hormuz, this is a paradox for them because it's making the Arab states create other land routes so that the Strait of Hormuz's value diminishes over time. So we should expect the Iranians to continue to try to inflict as much pain over the strait while they can in the short term, as long as the United States continues to degrade Iran's coastal capabilities. And as you see, President Trump's initiating strikes deeper into Iranian territory, taking out their industry, their ability to produce these weapons. The United States still has the leverage, and time is on our side.
Okay, let's listen to President Trump on the possibility of what could happen to the IRGC if they don't negotiate.
I wanted to ask you, Mr. President, about Iran and on Iran. You came to the conclusion that you couldn't negotiate with the IRGC. Does that mean that you might wipe them out like you did ISIS?
Yeah, it does. We will see what's happening. We received a call just as I was coming here. They want to meet. They always want to meet. But, you know, this should have been done by other presidents for many years, for 47 years, but really a lot longer than that, and it wasn't. And I never understood why, but now I do. Because if you're not going to do it the way I'm doing it, you're never going to make a deal with them.
So the IRGC is basically like a tiger that can't change its stripes.
That's right. And I was encouraged to hear President Trump talk this way. He also, remember the memorandum of understanding we talked about, it only lasted 3 weeks. And when President Trump described the failure of the MOU, he said, look, this was a test, and it was a generous test. The United States lifted the blockade, waived sanctions on oil, so the Iranians had all of this right up front, and they still shot missiles into 6 different American allied countries and fired at American Navy ships. And according to U.S. Central Command, they have killed or wounded almost a dozen innocent civilians as they tried to traverse the strait. So President Trump is making it very clear that he understands that the IRGC cannot be negotiated with. And remember, we just saw the funeral procession of the Supreme Leader in which the IRGC threatened assassination against President Trump. And so President Trump is clear that they cannot be negotiated with, but he can still have punishing military consequences against them.
Okay, so also there was news from overnight that an American woman was being held by the Iranians. I don't know how many people were aware of this story, but Truth Social, here's the post. Iran has allowed an American citizen wrongfully detained in December of 2024 under the presidency of Sleepy Joe Biden to leave the country. She's now safely outside of Iran and in good condition. The United States of America appreciates this gesture of goodwill by Iran. Her name was Dina Karari, a U.S. Iranian citizen who runs a nonprofit, and she had been charged with espionage. Why this overture?
Well, so first of all, we're always thankful as Americans that you get any American hostage back home. These were trumped-up charges. She's an innocent person. But typically the Iranians, I mean, they've been engaging in this hostage-taking since 1979, and they do it to get concessions out of the United States. We don't know if the United States paid for her release, but we could imagine that the Iranians are trying to assuage President Trump's fury because he has been expanding these military operations, so potentially trying to get President Trump not to be so angry, give him some kind of win. But the Iranians only give hostages if they have more hostages held back, and they do in this case, Bill. They've got 5 Americans are still held hostage in Iran. Again, remember, the MOU failed because the Iranians could not help themselves but terrorized the Strait of Hormuz. The result of the failure of the MOU rests only with the Iranians. So now it seems to me with this hostage release, they're just trying to get President Trump to potentially hold back on some of these military strikes. I don't think it's going to work.
Rebeccah Heinrichs, thank you for being with us this morning, kicking off the show.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.